Let's welcome back to the show from Senate Homeland Security. He is Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for coming on.
Merry Christmas to you and your audience as well, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. So, you know, if Elon Musk did not buy Twitter, we would not have heard about all these stories about what was going on behind the scenes. Now, Senator, your reaction to this: Twitter shut down its safety board. It wasn't doing enough to stop child exploitation. That's what Elon Musk says. Twitter's former head of public safety, Yoel Roth, flees his own home. He's reportedly facing threats after Elon Musk tweeted about his inappropriate tweets about child exploitation. What's your reaction to all of that?
Well, listen, I don't want anybody to have to flee their home, but you know what I keep trying to say about the Twitter files, as important as the release of them are, as interesting as the information they are revealing. For example, that same Mr. Roth talked about how the FBI was basically peddling the tale of hack and leak operations and actually mentioning Hunter Biden. Why I find that so interesting is I was subject to, so both Senator Grassley and I were subject to the undermining of our investigation from a whole host of characters. Senior Democrat officials here in Washington, D.C. Our ranking members were undermining our investigation, spoiled our ability to get subpoenaed information from one witness. He wanted to provide it voluntarily, but he's under non-disclosure agreement. We got that unsolicited briefing from the FBI. So what it indicates to me, it really solidifies the fact that the FBI were laying the groundwork, because they had that computer in December 2019. They understood how explosive it was. They warned Mr. McIsaac, the computer shop repairman, that people who don't talk about things generally don't get hurt. I mean, that's a veiled threat. So they were laying the groundwork just in case Mr. McIsaac ever came forward. And of course, it was Senator Grassley's in my report that prompted Mr. McIsaac. He finally felt safe enough to go public with that laptop. So again, this is a much larger story. The undermining, the sabotage of that story was occurring probably almost as soon as the FBI got it, but certainly throughout all of 2020. So
now
there are many actors here, many corrupt players.
We've got Elon Musk tweeting John Brennan. You live in a glass house. John Brennan, the former CIA director, one of the 51 U.S. intelligence experts who claimed without evidence Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. We've got a new poll. A majority say they would have voted differently in 2020 if they knew the laptop story was real, that the election would have played out differently if they'd known the truth. Americans believe the FBI and U.S. intelligence deliberately misled and blocked the public knowing about this laptop story. Joe Biden served in the Senate since Nixon. He always described himself as one of the poorest men in Congress, that he was poor. He was heavily indebted. Now he's worth at least $9 million. The Washington Post is now reporting Hunter Biden is ramping up a political attack team of lawyers to do opposition research and dig up dirt against even Republican lawmakers and people like Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski. Your take on this? They're talking defamation suits, too.
Yeah, well, they'll find if they look into me that I'm a choir boy. I am that Boy Scout, so there's nothing to dig up on me. But you mentioned John Brennan.
Isn't that wrong to go after lawmakers? Isn't that intimidation?
Listen, everything the Bidens have done is wrong. I mean, they're grifters. They're a corrupt family. They've profited off of the family name. So this has been obvious to me for years. It's actually been obvious to the mainstream media. But the mainstream media wanted to defeat Donald Trump, so they decided to Joe Biden, and they covered up for him. But going back to John Brennan, that letter, isn't that amazing how quickly they assembled 51 former intelligence officials to write a letter saying that the laptop had all the earmarks of a Russian information operation? Elizabeth, that letter was an information operation, and it interfered in our election to a far greater extent than anything Russia or China ever could have hoped to imagine. This is a huge scandal, but as always, a scandal that's basically being ignored by the mainstream media.
So will the new GOP majority in the House, are you hearing whether they're going to probe for offshore bank accounts the Biden family was using? Were famous for using, as you pointed out in your Senate Homeland Security and Senate Finance report, made extensive use of off-balance sheet shell companies. It is striking that Hunter Biden based his Rosemont Seneca firm in Georgetown, close to his father's vice presidential offices. He didn't put it here in New York City. This is during the Obama White House. And within a year of setting up his new D.C. offices, Hunter was meeting with the top finance people in China, signing multi-billion-dollar private equity deals bankrolled by the Bank of China, which is connected to the Communist Party. And, you know, so that was going on at the same time, Senator. Your final word.
Well, listen, Senator Grassley and I, we based our report on Treasury reports. We've since gotten the actual bank documents. A serious investigation that has full subpoena power would certainly trace outflows from those Hunter Biden accounts into possibly the big guy's account. That is still to be determined.
Got it. We'll stay on the story. Senator Johnson, thanks for joining us again. It's good to see you again.